I now call the September 25th, 2025 meeting of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education to order. Board member Liz Monterey Duval will be participating by simultaneous communication via Zoom. There being no opposition to any items on the agenda, it is adopted by unanimous consent. And for the first order of business this evening, I turn to Dr. Hill for acknowledgement of our students.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are very excited about the students that we are recognizing this evening. Now, these students last year were middle school students, so they were in grades 6, 7, and 8, but we've advanced them all a year. So students tonight, some of those students are high school students, but they were in 8th grade last year, but they're being recognized for all of the hard work that they did last year. They demonstrated extraordinary growth on their end of grade assessments last year. So students, when I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Our photographer is going to take a picture of you, so please make sure that you stand long enough for him to get your picture. And then when we finish, I'm going to ask all of our students to stand, as well as all of our family members and our staff members. I see some principals here in the audience tonight. We want you all to stand so we can give you all a great big round of applause. All right, let's get started. Summer Williams from West Mecklenburg High School. Araya Thompson-Jones from Renaissance West STEAM Academy. Nyla Little, Meller Creek High School. Alvin Alexander Jr., Charlotte-Mecklenburg Virtual. Elena Bebse from Chambers High School. Alexa Salazar from Palisades High School. Joseph Bennett from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Academy. Yoreli Hernandez Ramirez from Ranson Middle School. Mia Mayhorn, Bailey Middle School. Derek McCain, Bradley Middle School. Isaria Wallace, West Charlotte High School. Johandrew Medina, Quail Hollow Middle School. Emerald DeBold, Renaissance West STEAM Academy. Alyssus Curtis from McClintock Middle School. Pamela Abigail Bonilla from Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School. Michaela Nicholas, Chambers High School. Aiden Henderson, Coolwood STEAM Academy. Jalen McCrae, McClintock Middle School. Antoine Moore, Chambers High School. Amir Martinez, South Charlotte Middle School. Chloe Jackson, South Mecklenburg High School. Taylor Evans, West Mecklenburg High School. Isaria Lotta from Cochran Collegiate Academy. Andrew Stottinger from Myers Park High School. Mackenzie Morris, West Mecklenburg High School. Somaya Hayfitz from Randolph Middle School. Anthony Ellis, Crestdale Middle School. Nika Curry-Loco from Community House Middle School. Tyler Thompson from Northeast Middle School. Victoria Estrada from Kennedy Middle School. Amelia Moran, First Ward Creative Arts Academy. Gabriella Mayfield, James Martin Middle School. Ashley Diaz Escalante from Alexander Graham Middle School. Jaydan Seiler from Wilson STEAM Academy. Eunice Borge, Mid Hill Middle. Brittany Alvarado from Quail Hollow. Angelica Lopez from Alexander Graham Middle. And Daniela Kigoga from Alexander Graham Middle School. All right, well, all of our,
Dr. Hill,
oh, I'm sorry.
you have one more.
I have one more.
It's at the top.
Come on down. All right, at this time, we're going to get a picture with you. When everybody's leaving, we're going to get a quick picture with you, okay? So you guys hang tight right there. All right, well, all of our students and our families and our staff members, please stand to be recognized. We'd like to thank you so much for your extraordinary hard work, and thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I asked some of you what you did to make such extraordinary growth, and you said doing your homework. So I'm going to let you go home and get your homework done, get in the bed, have a great night, be on time for school tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful evening.
Board members, are y'all gonna take a picture?
Just Dr. Hill.
You're going to just Dr. Hill?
Yeah.
Here? Right here.
We're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I need to get in a little bit closer.
Good job, Summer.
Congratulations. Getting ready for this festival. Jeez. I was trying to hear this stuff. I did it, but I didn't send it in. Summer? Mm-hmm. I did at least, right? Look at it.
We are empty tonight. The consent agenda items have been provided to the board members in advance. Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
Second.
Moved by Klein, second by Byers Bailey. All those in favor by show of hands. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk, with 6? Yes, 6. Next up, we have 2 readings and 1 public hearing this evening. The first reading is for the creation of policy O-AIU, Artificial Intelligence. I turn to Vice Chair D. Rankin as Chair of the Policy Committee.
Madam Chair, this is the first reading of the proposed creations of policy O-AIU, artificial intelligence. The policy highlights the importance of the responsible and ethical use of AI within our district as our students and staff learn to work with this emerging technology. While AI may enhance future educational outcomes, streamline administrative processes, and provide valuable tools for our students and staff, AI cannot be used to replace human interaction, creativity, or decision-making. The policy applies to the use of AI in the classroom and by staff. It is divided into 8 parts, including definitions, AI implementation process, responsible ethical uses of AI, use of AI in student learning and academic applications, training and support for AI users, public records, review and revision, and regulation. This policy aims to ensure that AI systems introduced into the district align with educational goals, comply with privacy laws such as FERPA and COPPA, are accessible to our diverse student and staff population, that AI bias is mitigated whenever possible. Due to the fast-paced nature of the development of AI technologies, it is the committee's recommendation that the AI policy be reviewed annually to determine whether any updates are necessary. The policy committee met and considered this new policy at our September 10th, 2025 meeting and voted to recommend approval by the full board.
All right. The next reading, we have the first reading for modifications to S-SPTR interscholastic athletic participation and S-XTRC extracurricular activity eligibility, the creation of Exhibit S-XTRC/E extracurricular activity eligibility, along with retirement of policy S-STCL, student induction into school clubs or organizations. I turn to Vice Chair D. Rankin as Chair of the Policy Committee.
Madam Chair, this is the first reading of the proposed modifications to S-SPTR, interscholastic athletic participation, and S-XTRC, extracurricular activity eligibility, the creation of Exhibit S-XTRCE, club sports rules, and the retirement of policy S-STCL, student induction to school clubs or organizations. The modifications to S-SPTR include adding the definition of interscholastic athletics and specifying the eligibility requirements for interscholastic athletics. The modifications to S-XTRC include adding definitions for extracurricular activities and clarifying eligibility requirements, such as when a student may participate in a club sport at their home school, even if enrolled in a magnet program. Additionally, the language previously found in S-STCL has now been incorporated into the S-XTRC, enabling the retirement of S-STCL. The creation of Exhibit S-XTRCE sets the rules that CMS students must follow to participate in club sports, including eligibility requirements and sportsmanship expectations. The Policy Committee met and considered these modifications at our September 10th, 2025 meeting and voted to recommend fast-track approval by the full board.
We have one public hearing this evening, modifications to S-SPTR, interscholastic athletic participation, and S-XTRC, extracurricular activity eligibility, the creation of Exhibit S-XTRC/E, extracurricular activity eligibility, along with the retirement of policy S-STCL, student induction into school clubs or organizations. Since there are no speakers that have signed up this evening, I now declare this public hearing closed. I turn to Dr. Hill for the financial statements July 2025 report.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the budget amendments August 2025 report.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the contracts and change orders report for September 2025.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the 24-25 end of year Goal 2, grades 6 through 8, student outcomes focused governance monitoring report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. At this time, I'm excited to introduce Mrs. Stacy Brown. Mrs. Brown is the English Language Arts multi-classroom leader for grades 3 through 8 at Charlotte East Language Academy. She has been at Charlotte East since the school opened in 2018 and has been with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools since 2023. Tonight, Mrs. Brown will give us insight into the highest leverage strategies she has used in her role as MCL at Charlotte East. Thank you for being here tonight, and welcome, Mrs. Brown.
Thank you. Distinguished members of the school board, Dr. Hill, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the high leverage instructional strategies used at the middle school level of Charlotte East Language Academy, a K-8 dual immersion school, also known as CELA. With the guidance and support of the K-8 school performance area, our instructional leadership team is able to participate in a variety of opportunities which have an impact on student outcomes. These include core action calibration walks and master teacher professional development like the one I attended today. Interaction with colleagues at these trainings allow district priorities to be crystallized and remain front and center. At Charlotte East Language Academy, student outcomes are at the forefront. They're used to make informed decisions about the many resources that will impact student learning, including human capital. We are intentional about ensuring that all students receive quality instruction that focuses on each student's needs and growth goals. Special consideration is placed on scheduling to maximize the time and reach of all teachers, including the social studies teacher, multilingual teachers, exceptional children teachers, and teaching assistants. Through collaborative professional learning communities, our teams of teachers are able to clarify and internalize the reading standards in the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. We make sure that all components of each standard are being explicitly taught, and we intentionally locate spaces for students to go deeper with their knowledge. In the classroom, we use district-apportioned resources to encourage student engagement through connection with meaningful, high-quality text. We create a culture of reading by setting time aside for reading, including iReady with weekly recognition. Reading for information standards are infused into social studies daily. Whole group discussions and reading of text are followed by daily small group instruction and partnering work. With academic monitoring, we're able to give students real-time constructive feedback and work with fierce urgency. At Charlotte East, we foster a love of learning that allows the celebration of forward progress to thrive over perfection in a consistent, respectful, positive, pro-social learning environment. To further its student engagement, our school uses field trips to provide opportunities to show what awaits students outside of Charlotte East. From visiting Davidson College to going to Kennedy Space Center, students were able to put the conversations and collaborations happening at Charlotte East to use outside of Charlotte East. Another high-leverage strategy is data-informed decision-making. When classroom, iReady, or MVPA data showed that changes were warranted, our instructional leaders made the needed adjustments from schedules to teachers. Our teachers are flexible and model for students what adaptability looks like. Students are challenged to take personal responsibility for meeting their goals and targets, while we understand that student success is everyone's responsibility from birth to grade 8. All stakeholders are accountable for the outcomes, including parents, students, teachers, and administrators. We've increased communication through Parent Square to continuously keep parents informed. In my role as the multi-classroom leader of ELA grades 3-8, I get to infuse these high-leverage strategies with the teachers I lead and the students I love. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown, for being here tonight, and thank you, Principal Lang, for all of the work that you have done at Charlotte Language East Academy. All right, well, board members, we this year are having an opportunity for you to hear about things that are actually happening in the schools from the schoolhouse, so you can make the connection of the goals that you have set for our district. So I am presenting to you our Goal 2, which is our end-of-grade student outcome-focused governance monitoring report. In addition to Goal 2, our overall numbers, this report also contains data for students in grades 6 through 8. The goal is to increase the percent of students scoring at college and career ready on reading, end-of-grade reading assessments in grades 3 through 8 from 31% in June 2023 to 50% in June of 2029. This is the final of our two 24-25 EOG reports. Last time we were together, you heard a focus on grades 3 through 5, and today we're focusing on students in grades 6 through 8, excuse me. So this graph shows our overall goal attainment for students in grades 3 through 8. 33% of students in grades 3 through 8 achieve college or career ready on the reading end of grade assessment for the 24-25 school year. This is an increase of 3 percentage points over our EOG for the 23-24 school year. Our annual target was set at 37%, so ultimately we fell short of this goal by 4 percentage points. As shared last time we were together, this year our target is 40%, which means that we need to accelerate our growth by 7 percentage points. Here again is a look at the overall goal. You saw this last time we were together. We need just over 4,000 additional students in grades 3 through 8 to reach our 25-26 target. Tonight, as I said, we are focusing on students in grades 6 through 8. 31% of students in grades 6 through 8 achieved college and career readiness on their reading end of grade assessment for the 24-25 school year. This number is an increase of 4 percentage points over our EOG for 23-24. However, the annual target was set at 37%, so we ultimately fell short of this goal by 6 percentage points. Our target is 40% for students in grades 6 through 8, so we need to accelerate by 9 percentage points to meet our target for this year. Here you will see, despite us having a Herculean goal for a target for this year, we just need 2,000, almost 3,000 students to reach our target. And at this time, I will turn it over to Chair Sneed to facilitate questions.
Board members, we'll follow our usual cadence, looking backwards. And Board Member Shipp has the first question.
I'll start. Yes, on page 10, as you talked about, we have a little under 3,000 additional students needed to reach the 25-26 target. That's 2,933. Where are we at looking at these students? Is it sixth grade breakdown? Is it the sixth grade students we're really more focused on, the eighth graders, they're going towards high school? And what do these strategies look like to move this number?
So I'm really proud of our team, all of our teams, but specifically our accountability team. They've actually built a new tool that we are going to be launching with our principals on October 7th through Power BI. And this report will break down all of our data points, specifically our goals, by school performance area, by school, and by individual teacher. So we'll be able to get down to the individual student and see how they performed last year, and it also has historical data going all the way back to the first time they've taken an end-of-grade assessment. So they will be able to track and know exactly where that student needs to be. The other thing that our teachers and instructional staff will be eagerly awaiting is our EVOS projection data, and that data lets us know what students should be able to do to meet their target for that year. So based on that information, our teachers, our instructional teams will be working really hard to make sure that students are exactly where they need to be. The other thing that I wanted to call out is that, we know it's possible to reach our target. It is Herculean, but we know it's possible to reach our target because we had about 6,000 students who were grade level proficient last year. So we've taken a look at who those students are and we've forecasted. So we had a little over 6,000 of those students who are grade level proficient. So if we were able to move about 49% of those 6,000 students, that's how we're going to make sure that we meet the target of college and career ready. Of course, not forsaking those students that are not proficient, making sure that they become grade level proficient. But we know if we can grab about 49% of the students that were GLP last year, we'll be able to make sure that they are college and career ready for the coming year.
And as a follow-up, and I know you kind of hit on it, but as we look at sixth grade as opposed to eighth graders, and them coming out of elementary, what have you seen in terms of the needs for the sixth grade, if we talk about that particular grade level?
I don't have that information in front of me, but our teams definitely have that information. What is included in the report is
Because I saw in the report, in the appendix,
in the appendix, that's exactly where I was going. Our high-quality specialists and quality master teachers have done deep dives, so they know exactly where those students are, what they need to focus on. And specifically for our high-quality instruction, our teaching and learning teams have taken a look and pulled all the data of what are the strands that are needed for each particular grade level, and they've already made adjustments to the curriculum to make sure that we're able to accelerate in areas that we need to accelerate. The other thing that they have done with the curriculum for high-quality instruction, I wanted to call that out, is they have with the data that they have, they've put together some curriculum videos that really, obviously focusing on the curriculum, but really leading with the standard and unpacking the standard. So what we're really focusing on is this is what the standard is, this is the curriculum, but of all the curriculum, these are the key areas in the curriculum for each unit and each lesson that teachers need to be super focused on in order to master that standard. So instead of taking the approach of, this is the curriculum, you're going to teach all of these things, really understanding what the standard is, unpacking that standard, and focusing instruction to be able to master the standard.
that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Board Member Klein?
Looking at some of the, what we implemented and learned and achieved with these charts, I noticed there seemed to be a theme of inconsistency of core action walks. And what have you identified as ways of overcoming, or what caused the inconsistency? I can't get that future because that's the future asking question.
Sure. So what we've noted in terms of inconsistencies really wasn't necessarily what was happening at the school level, but what was happening from the district support coming into schools and being calibrated with the core action walks. So that's one of the things that we've noticed. As we've talked before, we have specialists that are in different areas that were really focused on their area of specialty, of course. So if they were a multilingual specialist, they were really hyper-focused on those things. And so this year, what we've done is we've taken an approach of getting everybody on the same page, everyone aligned, and really calibrating with our core action walks. And that professional development has already started. It's already occurred, I should say. We're already in the process of our first cycle with our specialists and with our master teachers, and then making sure that we're using that to support instructional teams as they go into the schools.
So that's just my future asking question.
Any other backwards? Dr.
I
Witherspoon?
was trying to figure out whether those backwards or forwards. What's specific, I guess, let me see, page 32, 34, in the appendix is what I'm referencing. What specific strategies are there for recruiting and retaining, supporting high-quality teachers in schools with the lowest college and career readiness?
So we have multiple data points that we look at to identify priority schools for the purpose of recruitment and retention. Chief Brightwell is responsible for that piece. So her and her team, along with the rest of cabinet, have identified specific indicators. And so we have schools that are priority schools. Some of it's based on academic achievement. Some of it's based on the number of lateral entry or residency teachers, beginning teachers, all of those different factors puts them into this priority school place. So one of the things that the team has done is they have utilized retired principals to support priority staffing schools with recruitment, screening, and interviewing. And that has really helped support schools to make sure that principals, instead of screening a lot of candidates that may not be great candidates, that work happens before it gets to the principal. So they're able to recruit, they're able to screen, and so when those candidates get in front of the principal, you already have a good pool of great teachers to staff that priority school. Using that process, along with us, we have some updated systems that we've put in place. It has allowed us to have a 98% fill rate right now with our priority schools. And that has not been our fill rate in the past. In the past, those priority schools have not been filled, but I was with several of them earlier this week asking them about their vacancies, and the majority of them told me that they were fully staffed.
Any follow-up?
No.
All right, any other backwards questions? All right, now forward facing. I know Board Member Klein, I think you had one.
She answered it in her
Okay.
backward facing.
Board membership?
And I think this is forward facing. I was in the appendix under high quality teachers, under 4, school teacher retention and development plans. Principals are monitoring curriculum and classroom instruction regularly and providing timely, clear, constructive feedback to teachers. How consistent is this across the district to support high quality teacher instruction?
It's very consistent. Last year was the first year that we put this in place. So as a part of the school improvement plan, we asked principals to have this plan, but we did not provide a lot of support for principals. This year, we've added an additional layer of support, specifically with those priority schools, because those are the schools that we know we have to not only recruit, but we need to retain staff. And because they're priority, that's critically important. But Chief Brightwell has done a really good job with that, and it's something that we focus on district-wide, so our school performance officers, while they are not, assistant superintendents, while that is not their body of work, they are right there alongside of the principal to support them with all of their recruitment and retention efforts.
Okay,
So much more aligned.
thank you.
Vice Chair Rankin?
On the subject of, our bricks are high quality instruction and student engagement, and considering our annual target of 40% for the 25-26 school year, can you explain how Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports factor into your strategy of reaching our overall goal?
Okay. And that was high-quality instruction specifically?
Yeah, just around, just not specifically, but I think
Or
just.
for all Tier 2?
Just how does Tier 2 or how does Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports or interventions play into your strategy around those topics, or any of the bricks, really, to be honest with
Yes, absolutely. So we always have to make sure, and I say this all the time, we have to ensure that students have a very strong core. Someone once said, you cannot intervene your way out of any situation. So you have to start with a really strong core. So what we have done is made sure that we have standard treatment protocols in place for students that are receiving Tier 2 or Tier 3 interventions, whether it be for instruction or for any other area, behavior, engagement, all of those things. So ensuring that we have both a strong core and standard treatment protocols allows us to collect data and know and understand not only if those interventions are working for those individual students, but if they're working for larger groups of students that are receiving a similar type intervention. So that is something that we have tightened up on a lot over the last 2 years in terms of having that protocol in place. And then last year, I talked a lot about, which is we've even tweaked more, progress monitoring ththose interventions as well. So one of the things I mentioned, making a tweak to some of the curriculum based on data when Ms. Sandership asked the question. We've done the same thing, making those tweaks in our curriculum, just like we've made tweaks for our Tier 2 and 3 interventions, making sure that specific interventions may be applied earlier based on when students would see content, and then also making sure that we're progress monitoring the exact skill that kids need in order to be grade level proficient or college and career ready.
Can I do a follow-up?
Yes.
Staying in that vein of, because we have the additional 4% we're trying to get, right? Plus we have our target. Are there any other additional strategies that we're looking to apply to make up that gap? That we have the core walk, we have the common core walks, we have the high quality teachers, we have the core instruction. Are there any additional strategies that you're going to apply to kind of make up that gap so we can continue to see the progress that we're having?
Yeah, so I would say there's several strategies. The one that I think that I want to call out to in particular, see if I can find it. I think I'm going the wrong way, sorry. Would be the cycles of improvement. And making sure that we all are aligned. And so you've asked lots of questions about like the connective tissue or the mortar between the bricks to make sure that they're all working together. I would say the small tweaks that we've made to ensure alignment. So on this slide, you can see the cycles for professional development that we're using, the timeline. We've been very specific about, we have 6 different cycles. Here are the timeline in which those cycles happen. When the question was just asked about consistency across the district, this is happening in every single performance area, and it's very consistent. We have teaching and learning and our school performance team working together along with accountability to make all of this happen. It also includes multiple groups of people that are in our breaks, our high-quality specialists, our master teachers, and of course, our teachers. So all of those are the specific strategies that were in existence last year. We've just tightened it up. And then I would say then the next thing, I already talked a little bit about it, was in terms of curriculum, making sure that teachers have access. We've always done the weekly tidbits, but we've made it more targeted, specific with videos. So if we have teachers that may be long-term substitutes, or teachers that are newly hired, or teachers that have never taught that grade level before, they're getting these weekly tidbits, which is front-loading them with an exemplar of how you would need to teach this next unit and the specific things you need to look for. So teachers aren't overwhelmed saying, oh my goodness, I have to teach this new unit, all of these things. We have an exemplar video so they can actually see that, and then they're using that in their planning. So those are some of the very intentional moves that we're making to support with the overall strategy of making sure that we meet our targets.
Thank you.
Board Member Monterey, I see your hand, but I just have a question that's kind of in the line of Vice Chair Rankins.
Okay.
So I'm looking at slide 13, and this is kind of in that same vein of the high quality instruction and teachers. What strategies are used to make sure that our master teachers are in our higher need schools?
So we, thanks to this board, about 2 years ago, we made some shifts on the operational side in terms of allotments, and we allotted a master teacher for literacy and a master teacher for math at every single one of our schools. So all of our schools have a master teacher, unless, of course, they have a vacancy. And so we've really challenged and charged our principals to make sure that they are picking the very best person to be able to fill that role. The other thing that we have in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools is our teacher leader pathway. And this year, for the first year, I'm really excited, we've extended that to all of our schools. So all of our schools have access to teacher leader pathway. And I'll just say I've been fussing about the General Assembly. I want to say thank you to the General Assembly for passing some mini bills earlier this week and sending them to the governor to be able to allow us to continue with advanced teacher roles. We call it teacher leader pathway in terms of class size waivers. So thank you, General Assembly, for your work with that. But those are the types of things that we've provided for every single school. Now, in terms of ensuring that we have the right people to support the right schools, that's when Ms. Brightwell's team comes in to really support with those schools that are priority list schools. That team is supporting them not only with filling their classroom vacancies, but also ensuring that their master teachers are the right people in the right seats, and teacher leader pathway is also in her shop.
Thank you. Board Member Monterey Duval.
Thank you. My question is around the attendance strategy. So, sorry, not the attendance strategy, the student engagement strategy. So, as I was reading over the student engagement strategy, I realized, or I noticed, that it's centered around attendance training and monitoring, but for attendance managers. So how is that interacting? Like, are they then engaging with students on absenteeism? So I guess that's like one part of the question. And if they're not, how are we engaging students? Like, are we celebrating performance? Are we coaching them on how to build, strong attendance habits? Can you explain how that kind of works?
Yes, so the strategy that we have specifically that we're monitoring for SOFG purposes and the things that you see in your report are specific to getting students in school. It is making sure that our attendance managers, our social workers are going out, that they're having mediation meetings, that they're working very closely with the schools to remove any barriers to support students in getting to school. But I want to reassure you that student engagement does not stop there. One of the things that I have charged all of our schools this year is to focus on pro-social environments. And basically what that means is making sure that we are building incredible environments for students and that they are learning and practicing behaviors to support other students. And we know that when students are actively working to support others, they naturally will be more engaged because that means somebody else is supporting them. So we have specific things that are in the works. We are just not reporting on that here in terms of SOFG. However, I've talked to you about earlier, I talked to you about OBEA and PERT, and I talked about there are some strategies that we're monitoring at the cabinet level, and that there's other strategies that we are monitoring that are not as critical at the executive director level. That's where more of those type of engagement strategies are occurring. But for the purposes of this report to the board, we wanted to really focus on something that was high level. We know if we get those students to school, then we have other strategies that are outlined in our annual plan that we're working to further engage those students.
Thank you. I see.
Any other? Vice Chair Rankin?
I want to circle back because I have my two questions. On that slide where you were showing the cycles,
Yes.
and it was showing the cycle, then it said, I think it was, I know the top was data collection, then it was OBEA, and then problem solving. Is that the order? Is that the order of the process there?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to make sure, just for clarity, when it says OBEA, is that in that section there, is that identifying stressors that may be in the cycle, and then that's where you go to the problem solving, how do we fix those stressors?
Yes, that's exactly right. So the way that it works is they have their cycle of professional development. So we're providing that professional development specifically for our instructional specialists and our master teachers. Then they're collecting data. Then they are reporting out on the data. And so OBEA simply means truth-telling session. It's very quick. They have gate charts. Is the needle moving up or down? Why or why not? And then the group engages in a discussion about what barriers need to be moved, and then they go into problem solving around that. And then the cycle continues. So the problem solving would be, okay, this is what we learned in this very short cycle. So October 3rd is coming up pretty quickly. So they're going to be getting together and saying, we looked at data, we reported out on it, we tried to remove barriers, this worked, this didn't work. What are the things that we need to tweak for our next cycle? And then the next cycle pops up October 4th. Instead of waiting all the way until the end of the year when we have our autopsy end of grade assessment data to say, oh, we might need to make changes for next year, we're making, as you can see, 6 cycles of clear, continuous improvement.
The reason I'm smiling is I think, because my normal question, which I've come back on, is how do you know what's working? How do you know what's getting fixed? So this process here should be able to tell you, hey, this strategy is working or it's not working. So we should be able to find out, hey, so if we ask that question in the future, they'll let us know, oh, this is how we know it's working or not working.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Well, thank you, board members, as always, for your engagement. And the next thing we have is I turn to Dr. Hill for the 24-25 end-of-year EVOS growth achievement results.
Yes, I almost forgot about this report. How could I forget? As you all know, we provided an update on our North Carolina accountability assessment results. The way the accountability model works is they drop the vast majority of that data. We had a great, we had press come out, we talked about it. Well, we've just received additional data that provides more detail about our growth. And so at this time, we have Chief Thompson, who's going to give you a very quick update and report, and then allow you to ask any questions that you may have.
Good evening. Tonight I'll share with you the 24-25 Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools student growth data. As always, we start with our district placemat, including our mission, vision, core beliefs, goals, guardrails, and pillars of excellence. Our commitment is to deliver excellence without exception for each student within Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. As a reminder, data for all public schools across North Carolina is located on the state website. The QR code is shown on the left here. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools chronicles year-over-year data, including this presentation, on the Data, Statistics, and Fast Facts page of our Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools website, QR code in the center here. And of course, our monitoring reports and videos for every single monitoring report, like the one you just took place here, is shown on our Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Strategic Plan website. That QR code is on the right. There are 2 ways that the state of North Carolina evaluates student performance. The first is achievement. Achievement tells us whether a student has reached the targeted performance level for that particular grade or content area on a particular assessment for that school year. In grades 3 through 8, students take reading, math, and grades 5 and 8 as science are assessed annually. They then receive a score of not proficient, level 3, level 4, or level 5. Achieving a level 3, 4, or 5 deems the student grade level proficient, a level 4 or 5 college or career ready. Similarly, for high school students, they take end of course assessments, Math 1, Math 3, English 2, and biology, and that same leveling system applies. There is, however, another way student performance is evaluated annually, and that is student growth. And in North Carolina, we refer to this as EVOS growth. Growth data tells us whether the student grew in comparison to other students who took the same assessment in the same year across the state of North Carolina, based on where the student started the school year and ended the school year. So achievement tells us whether students hit the target for the year. Growth tells us whether students made progress over the course of the year. Our goals and annual targets are based on achievement. Our continuous improvement process uses growth data to help determine pain points and areas of needed focus in pursuit of those goals. Understanding student growth helps us know whether our instruction is meeting the needs of students, identifying and addressing problems that inhibit their progress, identify areas of strength that can be leveraged, and determining the needs of students at different achievement levels. And this is critical to doing our continuous improvement work required to achieve our goals. So EVAS stands for Education Value Added Assessment System. There are 3 categories for growth: exceeds expected growth, meets expected growth, and does not meet expected growth. Exceeding growth is shown by the color blue, meeting growth by the color green, and not meeting growth is shown by the color red. So let's take a trip down memory lane. In 2018-19 and 21-22, shown here, you can see that students in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools met or exceeded growth in many content areas, but did not meet growth in 8th grade science, and in 2018-19 did not meet growth in Math 3. Note that there is no growth data for the 2019-20 school year or the 2021 school years due to the pandemic. In 22-23, students in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools met or exceeded in all content areas, an improvement from the previous 2 school years. In 23-24, students in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools met growth in 8th grade science and exceeded growth in every other content area. Again, an improvement from the previous school year. But in 24-25, students in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools overall exceeded growth in every single content area, a remarkable achievement that should most assuredly be commended. And while remarkable, what is absolutely amazing are the index scores for growth. Charlotte-Mecklenburg students didn't just exceed growth by a little, they exceeded growth by a lot. You could even go as far as to say by a megalot. A growth index of a 2.0 means exceeding growth. Check this out. In reading grades 3-8, the growth index was 26.6, over 13 times the needed growth in order to hit that growth index of 2.0. In math, the growth index was 17.32, over 8 times the needed growth of a 2.0. In 5th grade science, even in a year when the assessment was being renormed at the state, and usually we see things dip, our students' growth index was 11.21, over 5 times the 2.0 index required for exceeding growth. And in 8th grade science, the index was 4.63, English 2, 7.44, Math 1, 6.07, Math 3, 2.07, and Biology, 7.25. This is nothing short of amazing. And when we compare these growth indices to the 23-24 school year, look at this. The growth index in reading, shown here in blue, improved from 5.18 in 23-24 to 26.6 in 24-25. The growth index in math, shown here in purple, improved from 4.34 in 23-24 to 17.32 in 24-25. In 5th grade science, shown here in blue, the growth index improved from 9 in 23-24 to 11.21 in 24-25. For 8th grade science, shown here in purple, it improved from 1.33 in 23-24 to 4.63, from meeting growth to exceeding growth. The growth index for Math 1, shown here in blue, improved from 2.1 in 23-24 to 6.07 in 24-25. Math 3, shown here in yellow, dipped slightly from 2.19 in 23-24 to 2.07, but still solidly in the exceeding growth category. And in biology, shown here in blue, the growth index improved from 5.64 in 23-24 to 7.25 in 24-25. In English 2, shown here in purple, it improved from 5.14 in 23-24 to 7.44 and moved from meeting growth to exceeding growth. And not only did Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools exceed growth within each subject area, but each student group met or exceeded growth within each subject area. This is a whole lot of exceeding growth, not just with some students, but with every single category of students. And when you compare that to the 23-24 school year, you see overall improvement in student growth across each content area and across student groups, meeting growth in 2 areas and exceeding growth in every single other area. So in summary, we look at growth to identify areas we performed well and want to continue and/or expand practices. We want to celebrate those. This was the strongest growth that Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools has seen in history and is a tremendous achievement for any district, but especially for the 16th largest in the nation and the 2nd largest in the state. This accelerated rate of growth supports our ability to continue to accelerate student progress toward the 4 goal areas for our district, and that work is obviously, as you've heard, well underway for this school year. And as a point of privilege, thank you for your leadership. Your relentless focus on student outcomes and your relentless commitment to keeping student outcomes at the forefront of everything you do is reflected in all of this blue. Your tremendous efforts last year, efforts that contributed to these results, are to be commended. Madam Chair, that concludes my report. I turn it back over, and I'm happy to facilitate any questions.
Thank you. I keep using the word historic every place I go. Board members, do you have any questions?
It's historic.
Yeah. I don't know, what can we say but that?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you.
All right, Dr. Hill, I turn to you for your superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, board members and the audience. Thank you so much for being here. This evening, I'm going to share updates across our pillars of excellence. We are so proud of students from 9 Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools high schools that are among the more than 16,000 semifinalists in the 71st Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. They will have an opportunity to continue in competition for more than 6,900 National Merit Scholarships worth nearly $26 million to be offered next spring. These students are coming from Ardrey Hill High School, Ballantyne Ridge High School, Butler High School, East Mecklenburg High School, Myers Park High School, North Mecklenburg High School, Palisades High School, Providence High School, and Huff High School. For People Excellence, 11 principals were recognized as the 2026 Principals of the Year for their school performance area and are now finalists for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools 2026 Principal of the Year. Congratulations to Stephanie Hood from North Mecklenburg High School, Mark Anger, South Mecklenburg High School, Eric Turner, Central Piedmont Early College, Tony Perry, Albemarle Road Middle School, Patrice McCauley, Wilson STEAM Academy, Christy McCauley from Hawk Ridge Elementary, Rick Maureen from Mint Hill Elementary, Latricia Wilson, Tuckasegee Elementary, Wendy Harris, Lincoln Heights Montessori, Keisha Pride, Westerly Hills Academy, and Beth Marshall, Druid Hills Academy. Congratulations to these Principal of the Year finalists. We will announce our district winner in October during National Principals Month. For operations, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools is excited to announce that it will host the first ever Marketplace Expo on Thursday, December 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Winding Springs Elementary. This free event connects schools with trusted vendors and resources and offers school representatives, including PTAs, PTOs, booster clubs, parent leaders, the opportunity to explore fundraising ideas discover available services, and establish partnerships that support student success. You can register on our website. For engagement excellence, earlier today I attended the CMS Foundation's annual Scholanthropy Luncheon, which was outstanding. Thank you so much to Sonia Gant and the foundation team, and to David and Nicole Tepper, who were our presenting sponsors. I also want to tell you about our district's newest video program, which is called CMS Inside Connection. We actually had it last year, but it was such a big hit that we are extending it to our external family. So the CMS Inside Connection is a weekly video roundup of the happenings around the district, and it's designed to boost awareness, engagement, and pride in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools among our various stakeholder audiences. It empowers audiences to become ambassadors of our district's mission by spreading the word of the information they gain by watching. It also empowers our employees to speak to parents, neighbors, and other constituents confidently about our district. The program serves as a complement to existing communication vehicles. You can watch the CMS Inside Connection each week on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools YouTube and social media channels. And Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. The final item for this evening is the action item for modifications to S-SPTR, Intergalactic Athletic Participation, and S-XTRC, Extracurricular Activity Eligibility, the creation of Exhibit S-XTRC/E, extracurricular activity eligibility, along with the retirement of policy S-STCL, student induction into school, clubs, or organizations. I turn to Vice Chair D. Rankin as Chair of the Policy Committee to make the motion. As is reported out of committee, it does not require a second.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the proposed modifications to S-SPTR, Interscholastic Athletic Participation, and S-XTRC, Extracurricular Activity Eligibility, the creation of Exhibit S-XTRC-E, Club Sports Rules, and the retirement of Policy S-STCL, Student Induction into the School, Clubs, or Organizations. The modifications to S-SPTR include adding the definition of interscholastic athletics and specifying the eligibility requirements for interscholastic athletics. The modifications to S-XTRC include adding definitions for extracurricular activities and clarifying extracurricular eligibility requirements, such as when a student may participate in a club sport at their home school, even if enrolled in a magnet program. Additionally, the language previously found in S-STCL has now been incorporated into S-XTRC, enabling the retirement of S-STCL. The creation of Exhibit S-XTRCE sets the rules that CMS students must follow to participate in club sports, including eligibility requirements and sportsmanship expectations. The Policy Committee met and considered these modifications at our September 10th, 2025 meeting and voted to recommend fast-track approval by the full board.
Mr. Rankin, would you like to speak to your motion?
Really quickly, I just think this is a great policy modification and allows our students to continue to expand their experiences within the district and allows them to, because school is not just about the reading and writing, it's also about the experience they get to have and having to be able to socially interact with not only students in their school, but other schools around the district. So I think this is a great opportunity for this modification.
Thank you, Mr. Rankin. Any other board comments?
I just think that this is a great clarification. We've every year had issues come up with students said, well, I'm here, but I want to play there. And there was always some confusion or some little twerk that they couldn't seem to overcome. I think this clarification is great.
Just for a point of clarity, if this passes tonight when we vote on it, does it go into effect immediately? Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
There being no other comments, I believe we're ready for the question. So all those in favor of the motion as stated, by show of hands. Board Member Monterey Duval, can you verbally answer?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. It is unanimous. All right. There being no other business for this evening, we are adjourned.
Thanks.